Hi, everyone. Happy Thursday. I had to remember what day we were in. Anyways, it's Tara here, and I wanted to come and talk to you today about loving your darkness. And I have to say that the moment that I started loving my own darkness and the darkness in others, things changed dramatically. It's whole life living. Now, I used to say things like, move into your greatness, until like everything in my body rattled and said, I don't want to be just my greatness. I don't want to be loved for just my greatness. I don't want to try to just be my greatness. There was just a frustration there that I had to always show up better, right? I had to always show up in peak performance, and that's what others were looking for from me, and that I was looking for from them. I'm going to say that again. And that's what I was looking for from them. And maybe I was like, even sometimes you might go, oh, I don't look for that from others. But if you're a helper, you are. You're trying to help them to their greatness. So you can get credit for helping them to their greatness, but that's where you're trying to be. And I'm not saying that people's greatness is not wonderful and it's not a place to be celebrated, because it is. And the more that we honor the darkness, the more that we're able to celebrate the greatness. And what I mean by that is, the more that we're able to see in ourselves and accept and allow darkness, the more that we are in others. And that gives us the capacity to not be jealous and want to like knock people out for their greatness. How many times has somebody outshone you, and you might celebrate them, but inside there's a part of you that just wants to knock them out because you don't believe that you have the capacity to go there. That's what jealousy is all about, is a lie to ourselves. It's a lie to ourselves that we don't have the capacity to do whatever that is in our own way. Okay. Because most of the time we don't take the time to ask if we actually want it as they got it and in their way. I mean, there's still moments where somebody will do something or go somewhere and I go, oh my gosh, like I wish I would have gone, or oh, I wish I could go. And I haven't actually asked the question. What I'm jealous of is the joy in which they've shown that they were there. And I didn't ask, like, what is my joy? Where brings my most passionate moments, whether they're on social media or not? Because a lot of my most joyful moments, I never share with anyone. There's no camera around. Like, they're just intimate, wonderful moments that I'm totally in them. Right. And so going back to darkness and being a whole being. Darkness is not just where you're wrong or bad. It's not the areas where you should be judged. It's anything that's not in the light, right? It could be the areas that you don't know anything about. It could be the areas where you're saying, like, I need help. It could be the things that you've hidden from yourself. Some of the things that are in the darkness are your greatest capacities that you haven't actually brought into the light yet, because maybe you're afraid that they're going to be judged. But a lot of what is in the dark is just not knowing. And the ability to embrace your not knowing is a power. It's a superpower. Saying, I don't know, and asking for the answer that works for you is a superpower. And what I mean by that is, it's not always in your best interest to say, I don't know, and ask just anyone for the answer. You need to tap in inside and ask whether they have an answer that will actually contribute to your greater joy, your expansion, whatever it is that you're looking for. And not because they believe it, because that's what a lot of marketing is about, is either bringing up your fear and then selling you on what they have, or convincing you because they're convinced that they have the answer, and they may have the answer for them, but not necessarily for you. And so it's really important to tap into what you know in your body, which is your intuition and your cellular awareness, that will let you know whether this is a yes or a no. And you can logic your way out of it, which means you can tell yourself, like, give yourself reasons why it's a yes or why it's a no. But really, it's beyond logic when you tap into that space. Like, you may not have the evidence or ways to validate your answer, but believe me, you should trust it, or else you're going to reap the consequences of not trusting what your awareness inside tells you to do. So the more that you embrace that you don't know things and that you just ask, I like to say, like, you're asking the wind, because the wind is all energy and all consciousness to give you the awareness. But it's not woo woo. What you're doing when you ask is you're opening yourself up to a different answer than your brain has previously been I can't talk, previously been impressed upon with, right? So most of what's in our brain is what impressions we've been given, or what downloads or things that we've been told throughout our life. And if you ask a question just to the wind, or just to, I'm saying it's not just to yourself, you're asking really the universe to show you a different possibility than the ones that you feel aren't working for you, to get you out of the box, to open the door, right? It's really what you're doing. And so when you do it, it makes you be open to a different possibility. It makes you be aware, like, look, listen, and like have the tendency to feel whether there's a different opportunity, possibility, a different answer that comes along. And so embracing the darkness can bring great amount of gifts. So, but it is also the things that you judge, the areas where you feel that you're wrong. I just had a conversation with somebody about allowing herself to be the not nice one, allowing herself to realize that she has and will, not just has the capacity to hurt others, but she will hurt others. You can't be close with anyone close enough and not ever hurt them. I'm going to say that again. You can't be really close, have a close friendship with somebody and never hurt them. They can feel that they've never been hurt by you because they've taken ownership of their own experience. However, if you are so close with somebody, the only way to do it is to deny yourself any of your desires in order to keep them happy, which, if somebody really loves you, that will hurt them. And so embracing the fact that you are close enough to somebody, which means you have the capacity to hurt them, and then honoring when you consciously choose to invoke that right is key. So that sounds really odd and weird, right? Like, I'm going to consciously choose when I'm going to hurt you. Weird. And what I mean by that is, there's times where you need to make a choice for yourself that maybe the other person doesn't want. They might want to hang out with you and be with you. And yet, for your best interest, it's best to do something different. If you've set up your relationship and you've actually said, like, I'm so sorry, this is hurting you. I need to honor myself. There's a different impact, right? The hurting doesn't create suffering. It doesn't create trauma, because you've both come into it knowing that you're in that kind of whole relationship. So this might, like, really make your mind go a little bit crazy here. But wouldn't it be fun to be in a whole relationship where each individual is willing to say, I need to choose this for the betterment of me at the moment, for my well-being, for my mental, my emotional, for my physical, for just my joy. And I hope that you'll support me. But even if you don't, I've got to do this. But I'll be back. I do love you. And then the other person goes, yeah, it does kind of hurt, but go for it. Like, that's the kind of relationship we're in. And then you trade off, and the other person might say, like, I need to do this. And sorry, it's probably not what you want right now. But in order for me to show up as my whole self in this relationship, I need to keep feeding me in all my capacities and my capabilities and all the different levels of myself. And this is one of the ways that I need to do it, so that I can come back to you more whole. Otherwise, I'm losing pieces of myself by not honoring me. It's a crazy shift. It's a crazy shift that you can make in a relationship. But even if it's not about a relationship with another, an intimate partner, it could be a friend, it could be your child, it could be yourself, like having real conversations with yourself about, you might want me to do this and it might hurt to say no, but I'm going to say no because for my well-being, it's not a good idea. Like, so instead of speaking in theory, I'm going to give you an example. You might wish that you are more social, like you were more popular, that you had more friends, even as like 40 something, 50 somethings. I hear people talk about this all the time. Like, I wish that I was more blah, blah, blah. When in all reality, in order for them to show up for their own well-being, they need a different type of life. And so they may hurt a part of their personality, and they may need to deny a part of their personality what it wants in order to actually give your soul, your heart, your being what it needs and to nourish it. And so in this situation, that person might choose not to go to an outing that they've been invited to. They might choose to even spend time alone, or they might choose to start honoring the fact that they're way more of a one-on-one person. And so they're going to give up the dream that they're going to be this popular person and have tons and tons of friends, because it takes more time to have one-on-ones. And so they might have less people in their life that they're intimately close with, but they go deeper. And that doesn't mean that they're not going to sometimes choose the social event, but they're going to ask the questions and honor what will be the greatest contribution in that moment. It's all about honoring the wholeness of who you are, paying enough attention that you're asking the questions to know how to actually honor yourself, the relationships that you choose to be in, and the experiences you choose to have. When you pay attention rather than compulsively act or do things because you think you should or because you wish you were a different way, things change. Life opens up. You have a greater life. You have a whole life that's truly nourishing. It lights you up. Some of the things that I hear from clients is, it feels like life isn't so heavy anymore. I'm not carrying around the weight of the shoulds or the need to be kind and nice and the perfect one all the time. I'm not carrying the responsibility of keeping everyone happy. And so in turn, I'm overflowing with a light joyfulness. It's not a sugary, like, that. Like, a lot of people go from like excitement to depression because it's just, and it's so extreme. It moves to this place of a buoyant, like a light filled energy that oozes out and blesses many others. And they find that some people do go away, right? Some people do go away because they don't want to be in that space, and you probably don't want them to be in your space anymore. But those who stayed away, who actually are a contribution and enjoy and contribute to that lightness, they start to arrive. And so your life starts to change shape in all aspects when you start to honor and live from your wholeness, honoring the darkness too. It can actually be a lot of fun to honor what you don't know, where you're no good, where you make errors, and where somebody else could come in and be different than you. So, where your choices are your choices and you love them and they nurture you. Anyways, that's enough for today. I would love to hear your thoughts. And I'm gonna do the thing. If you like this YouTube and the things that I talk about, hit the like button so that you can hear more. And if you're ever wondering what it would be like to work with me, you can always schedule a complimentary discovery session. I put the information in below so that you can schedule one of those if you haven't ever worked with me before and decide whether it would work for you. So I hope you have a happy day. I hope you have a full day, a whole day, one that's nurturing, even if it's not happy, actually.